Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for December 3rd, 2022, from John chapter 19, Jesus before Pilate. Previously we heard about Jesus being betrayed by Judas Iscariot, arrested and bound, and then sent to the high priests of Annas and Caiaphas. But since they did not have the authority to kill Jesus, they sent Jesus to Pilate. Pilate first sought to have Jesus released since there was no evidence against him, but the religious leaders were very insistent. So the narrative continues. From John chapter 19, verse 1. Then Pilate took Jesus and flogged him, and the soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and put it on his head and arrayed him in a purple robe. They came up to him saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" and struck him with their hands. Pilate had Jesus tortured, then mocked, crown of thorns, probably in the hopes of gaining the sympathy of the crowds. Verse 4, Pilate went out again and said to them, "See, I am bringing him out to you, that you may know that I find no guilt in him." So Jesus came out, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. Pilate said to them, "Behold the man." So what would the reaction of the crowds be? Would they have sympathy on seeing Jesus bloodied and tortured and mocked? Verse 6. When the chief priests and the officials saw him, they cried out, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate said to them, "Take him yourselves and crucify him, for I find no guilt in him." The Jews answered him, "We have a law, and according to that law he ought to die, because he has made himself the Son of God." Not only were the religious leaders insistent that Jesus die, but now they actually told Pilate the real reason. Jesus is the Son of God, and they wanted nothing to do with the Son of God. Verse 8. When Pilate heard this statement, he was even more afraid. He entered his headquarters again and said to Jesus, "Where are you from?" But Jesus gave him no answer. No answer from Jesus? Well, you need to remember, he had very little strength at this time. He just got through being beaten and tortured, and he had no sleep the night before. Plus, this is God's plan of salvation, so maybe it was just best to keep the mouth shut. Verse 10. So Pilate said to him, "Will you not speak to me? Do you not know that I have authority to release you and authority to crucify you?" Jesus answered him, "You would have no authority over me at all unless it had been given you from above. Therefore, he who delivered me over to you has the greater sin." So notice Jesus now speaks, and Jesus gives the answer that Pilate would not be in this position unless the Heavenly Father authorized it. So basic interpretation is this is the Heavenly Father's plan to save humanity, and there is absolutely nothing that Pilate can do about it. Verse 12. From then on, Pilate sought to release him. But the Jews cried out, "If you release this man, you are not Caesar's friend. Anyone who makes himself a king opposes Caesar." So when Pilate heard these words, he brought Jesus out and sat down on the judgment seat at the place called the Stone Pavement, and in Aramaic, Gabbatha. Pilate knew that Jesus is innocent, but the religious leaders were adamant. So what would Pilate do? Well, join me together again tomorrow as we continue the narrative, and we'll find out. God's peace and many blessings be with you, and thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for listening.